Fast thinking and slow thinking were first described by a psychologist by the name of Daniel Kahneman. In his book, Thinking Fast and Slow, he describes how two different systems in our brain, one being fast thinking and the other being slow thinking, govern our behaviour and constantly fight for control. When you're stressed at work and you're having a bad reaction to something, chances are you're in fast thinking mode. But when you are calm and thinking rationally, then you are likely to be in slow thinking mode. So what are these two modes of thinking, and what purpose do they have? Fast thinking is automatic and impulsive. It relies on experiences from our past and it controls our actions. We don't think, we will just do. This is your brain rapidly recording information and making you take action. Slow thinking is conscious. This is where you are focusing your attention and you are very aware of whatever it is that you are doing. It's this way of thinking that allows you to solve problems, generate ideas, be creative, and change the world around you. Needless to say, when you're at work, you want to be in slow thinking mode as much as possible. So what happens when you experience conflict? Our bodies and minds have evolved to survive. This means that when you see danger, your brain automatically puts you in fight or flight mode. Your adrenaline spikes, your breathing and heart rate increases to get oxygen to your muscles, and you are either going to fight that danger or run away from it. Now, the problem with this amazing piece of evolution is that because it's automatic, it doesn't necessarily kick in the right place. For instance, your brain can't tell the difference between a lion running towards you and someone shouting at you, and your body is going to get ready to fight that person or run away from him. The problem is you don't do either. Well, I hope you don't. Instead, you try and respond and function when you have all of this adrenaline running around your body and you remain in fight or flight mode. And remember, it's a calm state that allows you to start thinking rationally to solve problems. This is the case for everything. When something goes wrong, when you lose a piece of work, when you argue with someone. But it's especially relevant when someone continuously displays toxic behaviour. It gets so bad that even when you get an email from that person and you haven't even read it, this can be enough for your body to go into fight or flight mode. So that's where you know that you've associated that person with almost like a fight or flight situation. And because that we're sitting at our desks or we're not running or we're not using up that adrenaline just gets absorbed into our bodies and it's really, really bad for us. So how do you move to a calm state? Well, the answer may surprise you because it's so simple. It's to breathe long, deep breaths. This tricks your body into releasing signals to your heart from your brain that slows your heart rate down. It allows you to start calming down. This is why almost all relaxation methods involve long, deep breaths to get you into a calm state. The next thing that I always do that I found is when I started getting myself into this calm mode and I could start thinking more rationally, I just needed to use up the adrenaline that was in my body. So what I would do if I couldn't go to the gym immediately after the work, I would just go for a quick walk around the office just so I could get my body moving and getting rid of that adrenaline. It's a really good trick. It works. Try it. Now I'm going to talk to you about how you can start controlling some of the world around you. This is a technique that you can use in any situation because this technique can be used to gain control of a conversation. So let's say that you're in a meeting and you have that toxic person in the room and they can be doing a number of things at this point. Either they're being really rude because they're covering for a mistake they made, or they could be accusing you of not doing something properly, or they could be shouting and banging their fist on the table. But by using this rule, you can start taking control of the conversation. And the rule is, whoever asks the questions controls the conversation. So going back to the difficult meeting, right now, that person has control of the conversation. They are accusing you and you are on the back foot because you have to respond and defend yourself. However, if you respond with a question, you are now starting to take control of the conversation because it forces them to respond to you. Then whether they are conscious of it or not, they are now responding to your framework. And it is incredibly powerful because it forces a response out of the other person. Let's demonstrate this with an example.
You didn't do your job properly.
I did, it's just that I didn't know that this particular part needed to be done.
Well, it was your responsibility.
But I didn't know.
Now this is a very extreme example, but you can see what's happening. The toxic person is attacking and has their colleague in a defensive position, and the toxic employee is able to paint a very unfair picture of their teammate. Now let's flip it and have them respond differently.
You didn't do your job properly.
What makes you say that?
Because this part isn't done.
Who is responsible for that part?
You are.
What makes you say that?
Well, it was supposed to be done.
Are you not responsible for this part?
Yes, but I thought you were going to do it.
Don't you think that it would have been wiser to tell me?
You can see now that by simply asking questions, they are now turning it around and controlling the conversation. The toxic person is having to respond and become more on the defense, the more they're having to answer. Also note, there's no shouting, there's no accusations or unprofessional behaviour, there is simply a reasonable set of questions that's allowing them to take control. Lastly, it's very obvious to everybody else that the toxic person is being unreasonable, unprofessional in the way he's going about business, but you are being calm and simply asking reasonable questions. Now, I've not always been able to do this, it is something that I had to learn. So how do you get good at this? Well, just practice. Start slow. Next time you're in a situation, and maybe there isn't a conflict, just ask an open-ended question. You don't have to challenge people and you don't have to become the narcissist or the difficult person yourself, but just practice asking those questions so that when someone starts accusing you or they start really digging into something that's completely unfair, you can start controlling that situation just by asking questions, as incredibly powerful. So I'm going to be doing a few more of these videos. Please like and subscribe so you know when the next video is coming out, and please write in the comments when you have had a bad situation. Tell me about a time when you've had a really bad day at work, or there's a situation or a person that is really making things difficult for you, and I'll do a video and I will talk about that particular situation to help you out. I hope you've enjoyed that video. I hope you've had a really good day, and just remember, just breathe. If all else fails, just breathe. Okay? Have a great day, guys.